I'm Mwanzaglan, fashion designer.
I am Javonka Williams, your Guyanese Queen of Pop.
My name is Hashim Ali. I'm a creative director here in Guyana.
Hey guys, this is Omaya Hall.
My name is Ramar. I'm a rapper, singer, songwriter.
I am Shukwana Holder, Miss Guyana Culture Queen 2024 and Miss Caribbean Culture Queen 2024.
Hi, my name is Kaya and I'm a singer-songwriter.
Hi, I am Aliyah Mizir, Miss Teen Charm Guyana 2025, and I am on the showroom with Orlando.
Welcome back to another episode of The Showroom with yours truly. My name is Orlando, and on today's episode, I have the amazing fashion designer, stylist, choreographer, and dancer, Isaiah Lutas. Isaiah, thank you for being on the showroom.
Thank you for having me, Orlando.
It's definitely a pleasure. So, Isaiah, we're going to start from the beginning. Let's talk about childhood, growing up. Where was that, and what were some of the hobbies you were into?
So I'm Guyanese, but I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago with my family. I started in dance. I always say that dance is my first love.
Yep.
And then fashion came. My dad is a tailor. Well, was a tailor. So I was introduced to fashion through him.
Yeah.
First time seeing, fashion is at home. Yeah. So
Was
yeah.
he making men's clothing?
Men's and females.
Okay.
Mostly female clothing. He used to do a lot of stuff for back in Guyana as well.
Oh, back then?
Yeah.
How did you end up in Trinidad?
Well, we grew up there. I think my dad had a contract over there,
Okay.
so we moved over there.
The entire family?
Yes, but it was like back and forth from Guyana. From Trinidad to Guyana.
Yeah.
Back and forth. So while I was here, I started dance here. I believe I started dance in Guyana at Let's Dance and Classique, and then after I would have gone back to Trinidad and I continued my dancing career at Caribbean School of Dancing. So
Okay, what was the first experience when you moved from Guyana to Trinidad? Was there a culture shock? Or-
yes, definitely a culture shock.
How old were you
culture
then?
shock. When I moved back, I was 7 when I moved back to Guyana. And when I got back here, it was a whole different vibe.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
accents was different.
Accents was different. I was different. Like, I was the weirdo.
No doubles.
No doubles.
Yeah, yeah.
School was different. I was bullied a lot in school, so I think that's when I like kind of used fashion as a medium to just say like, okay, you think you could bully me? At least I could dress better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that stage, you came back to Guyana. And you were so 7 would have been primary school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Primary school. I went to Concord Academy. Then I went to Tutorial High School. It was a vibe. I mean, Guyana has its ways, but at the end of the day, I mean, I got thick skin and I learned how to just be myself and.
Yeah. So who was the first person to introduce you into dancing?
My cousin Catherine. I always looked at her and I always admired how she would dance. I used to dance in church. I started dancing in church.
Yeah.
And but then I saw a show one time and I said, "Oh, Mom, I want to go and take classes." And I started out with Classic Dance Academy.
Okay, classic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's with Clive.
Yeah, with Clive.
Yep.
And then after, I danced there for a couple of years, and then I went with Let's Dance Studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it something you always wanted to do, like dance for like a big dance company?
Dance has always been a part, like something like naturally came to me.
Yeah.
I started in church, like I would have mentioned before. So it started there,
Yeah.
and then when I was at Classic, I think there's where I actually got to learn about technique, and there's like a whole different world when it comes to the dance world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then fashion came right after that.
Fashion has always been a part of me in some way. I think just like seeing my mom, I think the first person that I admire was my mom because she always dressed nice. She always, even if she's at home, she would put on her lipstick and get dressed. My mom and my aunt. So like seeing them around and like my dad always sewing and people in and out. So it's like it has always been around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, just grew up seeing it all the time. Yeah. Seeing fashion, seeing style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my parents were very much like they always encouraged me to do whatever creative stuff that I wanted to do.
Express yourself.
Yeah. They pay for all my classes, whatever I want to learn, and so I'm grateful to have had that opportunity.
Okay, Isaiah. So when did you think you were like good at dancing? Like, yo, I'm a pro. I can actually dance and I can get paid for my dancing skills.
Well, to be honest with you, when I was here, when I was training here, I wasn't feeling 100% that I was a professional because I
Yeah.
was now learning the technique. I was going through the different levels. I think I was in intermediate. I wasn't in the company as yet in Guyana.
How many levels are there?
There, well, it's from grade 1, grade 2, depending on where you are.
Okay.
But in Guyana, there's usually just like the intermediate foundation, intermediate, and you go to the company.
Yeah.
So while I was here, I didn't really feel much as a pro, because I feel like my technique, I only knew so much. But when I left Guyana, I think when I was in Trinidad, not I think, when I was in Trinidad at
Yeah.
Caribbean School of Dancing, when I started there, I think I feel more grounded and like I felt more like an artist because I understood more as to what the form is, the technique is, and while I was there, I felt like okay, I could call myself a professional
At that
dancer.
point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Around what age was that?
I was around 17.
Okay.
Yeah, around 17 years.
And you came back to Guyana, went into classic, or you went into the
No,
other?
when I came back to Guyana, I started my own dance group, New Generation Dance Studio.
Oh, you started it,
Yes.
and you were like 18 at that point?
No, no, no. I was much old. You see the back and forth thing, you get confused.
You get confused with the back and forth. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I'd be all over, and I was, but when I was doing dancing, I was doing fashion. I was going to Suriname, so I was
Yeah.
like traveling a lot.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
first time we met, it was during, I think it was probably like for Guyana Fashion Weekend, like the auditions and the rehearsals. I
Yeah.
can't remember. I think that's when I first met you, or it's way before that.
It was the first Guyana Fashion
the
Weekend.
first one, yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
first one, yeah. That's when we met, yeah. So, and it's funny because a lot of dancers cross over to becoming models.
Correct.
Yeah, because I know Classic had about 3 to 4 guys that were dancers that were also modeling.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
easier for dancers to be models because they understand movement, they understand, so it's easier
Yeah.
like for the walking on the runway, for posing and stuff like that,
Plus, most
the
dancers, you got to
transition.
be fit too.
Correct, correct.
So
correct.
you already have a fit. You're already fit.
And
for
then
that.
a lot of people they say, oh, because you're doing modeling, they put you in a stereotype or they think, okay, you can't do this or you can't do that.
Yeah, they put you in a
Call you
box.
names and all these things. So
Yeah.
it's easier for dancers to say, okay, let me just, move on and do modeling because they're already in the circle of creativity, and so it's easier for them to be able to take
Yeah.
the little,
Is that stigma
jobs.
still around right now with male dancers?
In
Your
Guyana,
opinion, yeah.
I think I deal with it every single day because
Yeah.
I think living authentically in your own skin, in your own truth, your own style, whatever that is,
Yeah.
to you, like almost every day, if I really, really like dress and put it on,
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
people's like, I guess I'm looks, I guess I'm like, even today I was like, I stopped a bus and the bus stopped and then it rode away. I was like, whoa, I was like, okay. I don't know why that happened.
That's not funny, but it's funny.
Right? Yeah, I had some stuff that happened to me, but it just like it don't bother me anymore because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, once I'm comfortable, with myself.
Yeah, once you're comfortable in your own skin, you like, I mean, you
But it
can
don't
express-
always be like that. I would get some really good compliments sometimes. And,
Yeah.
I compliment people. Anytime I see anybody in the road and I think they fit is nice, be like, you look good, and
I think
Yeah.
we as a society we got to grow away from that though. Every guy that's involved in fashion, you know what I mean? If you're involved in dancing, if you're a stylist, if you're a designer, like you don't automatically have to stereotype that guy, you know what I mean? Because there's people that just want to do it because they love it
Correct.
and they're good at it.
Correct.
But I don't know where the stereotype. I don't know. It just happens. It's been happening for years too.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it's funny. That's the reason why some guys don't even want to get into that, just because of what they hear, what they.
But even now, because like now being into fashion, being able to do being a designer, more of a designer now,
Yeah.
and seeing the type of people that are interested in the modeling and interested, like guys specifically,
Yeah.
they don't really care and they're very secure
Secure in themselves,
themselves.
yeah.
So, like it's like a whole different vibe now. I think this generation now, they're like they know who they are, so they don't care about what other people have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
can't put
it's
them
good
in a
to
box.
It's good to see that. Yeah, it's a whole different vibe now.
That's good. So when did you realize that you wanted to get into designing specifically?
Well, I always used to meddle in designing, like seeing my dad
Do it,
sew,
yeah.
and I started like with scraps that he would have and sewing stuff on dolls and stuff like that. So, but dancing was the thing that was more of my passion. So I never really focused to learn from him.
From him, yeah.
Yeah, but I learned a little one and two little things here and there.
Yeah.
But I think when I started modeling is when I wanted to do designing more, because then it's like, modeling and making no money.
Yeah, you're not making no money from that, especially here.
Modeling making no money, yeah. So it's like, I think I should go more into designing because of of styling and liking fashion more.
So Isaiah, let's talk about you deciding that you wanted to start your own brand. Talk us through that process, how you came up with that idea.
Well, I was living in, no, actually, I did it in Guyana first. We would have gone, myself, Clinton, and another friend of mine, Ryan Berkeley. I always admired how he created his stuff, and I would help him sometimes.
Yeah.
And we would go to Suriname Fashion Week. We went for, I think, 3 years. We went back and forth, and then I decided, you know what, let me give this a try. And I spoke to Warda. She is the artistic director who started Suriname Fashion Week.
Okay.
Like, I wanna do my brand, and I think Clinton was like, oh, that he wants to try and do a brand as well.
Oh, nice.
And that's how I started, and it was Isaiah Luther Designs first.
Yeah.
I did my first collection there, and then
In Suriname?
In Suriname.
You remember the year?
No, can't remember the
Yeah.
year. Yeah, and then after, I didn't do anything for about 2 years.
Okay. After you did the first
Yeah,
showing? Okay.
correct. I did, and then I did a collection called Red. I did that here.
Red here, okay.
Yeah, and then I didn't do again anything for a little while.
See, you took a lot of breaks in between.
Yeah, because it was just a hobby. It was just me,
At that point, it was a
basically,
hobby.
it was just
Okay.
a hobby. Me, I love fashion, and I wanted to, use my. It's like a different medium of me being creative.
Yeah.
When I came back here though, for Moonlight Stories, I decided, okay, you know what, I want to really do this thing
Yeah.
as more than just a hobby because I'm passionate about it, and I think that I can do it.
I remember when you
As a
showcased at Moonlight
standard,
Stories.
yeah.
Yeah. You did a great piece.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a great fashion show.
it was.
Keisha did an
Keisha-
excellent
yeah,
job.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
excellent job with that fashion show. The concept was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Keisha is on a whole different level by herself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she raised the bar, definitely raised the bar for the fashion industry, I believe.
Yeah.
Being able to witness stuff out of Guyana, because I've had the opportunity to do fashion in the Netherlands, Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, and other places, and I don't think that we've ever had fashion to that standard, like a whole show.
Yeah, whole show.
Before Origins, I would say that Moonlight Story would have been
Yeah.
like one of the
Yeah, Moonlight Story was well
The
put together.
concept,
The concept, the
the
production on it.
flow, the
Yeah,
models,
the models
everything.
were great. Yeah,
it's
the
very
setup, the
intentional.
stage. It was.
Yeah.
I went to both.
Yeah,
I literally
yeah, yeah.
came back to Guyana for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story. I was the first person to buy my tickets.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, because me and Keisha was in contact, and she was telling me like, "Yeah, you're the first person to actually purchase the tickets."
Nice.
So I came back the second year again for the Moonlight Stories, and that was amazing. I know Keisha left, and she went to England for school.
Since
Yeah, she went to school for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
so we didn't have one last year.
correct.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to see what she's gonna do for the
Definitely.
yeah,
I
for the
think
next
everybody is.
for 2026. Yeah, so you started your own brand, and the name of it now is
Now it's called Bugged Bead.
Buck to Be. Talk
Yeah.
about that. I know you use a lot of recycling.
Yeah, it's upcycling, recycling, sustainable. It's a sustainable brand, so we focus on recycling and we use thrift items. Sometimes we create stuff from scratch.
From scratch. How did
Yeah.
that idea come about?
I just wanted to shift because of what's happening in our planet, what's happening, with everything that's happening in fashion
Yeah.
and the overconsumption. I think with fast fashion and all these things, taking that into consideration is just want to make a change and do something a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fast fashion is actually there's pros and cons to it. Yeah.
And especially here in Guyana, like with the Chinese, like there's so much,
There's
there's
a lot.
so much already that is here, and it's like you just gotta be a little bit intentional on, how you could take something and recreate it. But sometimes you gotta do stuff like if I have an idea, I'll be like, okay, I probably need to do everything from scratch.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like specifically, like if I go into a thrift store, most times out of Guyana, because you get like really unique things out of
Yeah.
Guyana.
Does
It's
Guyana
easier to like.
does Guyana even have any? We have any good ones?
Thrift stores. We have those people who sell stuff out of the barrels.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
find some
Yeah, that
good
is true.
finds.
Yeah.
I find some really cool finds. One time I found a pair of Dr. Martens
Yeah.
for $4,000.
Doc Martens.
I was just walking down the street, I said, how much are those? And I was thinking my last 4,000
Yeah.
academy.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you didn't even know how much were those.
They probably didn't even know. Probably
Yeah,
just
they
got it in the
didn't even
bar and
know.
want to sell it.
Correct.
I know
Yeah.
they had a spot on Cumming Street years ago. Used to sell stuff. I think it called like Dancing Days or something.
No, they're not there anymore.
not- I
I
know.
remember I used to buy stuff from there
Yeah, that
'cause we
was
used to live.
years ago.
Yeah. I used to live a couple blocks up on East Street.
Yeah.
I would pass there. They don't
Yeah,
sell
they used to
stuff.
sell a lot of like thrift. You could get a lot of like good T-shirts and shirts from them.
Yeah. But I think there's something I actually wanted to do too, like open a really cool thrift store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be. I think we have a market for it here now because a lot of people are into thrifting and
Yeah.
yeah.
You can get some really good used pieces, you know, and you can flip them, clean them up really nice, and you can style them really well too.
Correct. And there's something about like older clothes that it just has like a different character to it. Like if you buy
yeah.
like an old leather jacket that is a little worn, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a little different.
You call
vibe.
that like patinas, patina.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
color
yeah,
starts
yeah.
to like fade a little bit,
Yeah,
nice and subtle. Yeah.
yeah, it's be a vibe.
So during COVID, what were you doing during that time?
During COVID, I was living in Anguilla for 2 years. I was the artistic director of a dance academy called Classic Dance Academy.
Yeah.
Not the same classic.
Not the same classic here, another one.
Yeah. So I was there for 2 years. It was interesting.
I remember when
was a
you were
good
there.
time.
Yeah, I
It
remember when
was-
you were there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So COVID came and mashed that all up.
COVID came and I was enjoying the island life.
Yeah.
Basically, just, chilling, going to the beach every day. I had a few classes. It wasn't as much because it was very strict over there. You couldn't
Do much.
You could go to the beach and do stuff, but you couldn't be like too close.
Yeah.
So we usually would do like online classes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But it was a good experience. It was a good vibe.
Yeah, COVID came and stopped
They're
all
very
that.
much more laid back though. Very
Yeah.
laid back. Yeah.
Remember when we were talking? I was telling you I'm coming to Anguilla, but you
Yeah.
already left and
Yeah,
came
yeah,
back
yeah,
to
yeah,
Guyana
yeah,
when I went
yeah,
to Anguilla. Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of things changed during the COVID period for designers. I heard it was really tough as a designer, as a dancer, performing artist.
In Guyana?
In Guyana, I heard it
Okay.
was. Well, I think most of the world was pretty tough, but in Guyana specifically, I know it had to be tough for a lot of people in that space.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you miss Anguilla?
I miss the beach.
Beach is
I
beautiful.
miss the beach. I missed the people. Basically that mostly because it's nothing to do really, just going to the beach.
Just going to the beach, yeah.
It's a very small island, so most people that live there, they would stay for a bit and then they fly out.
Yeah.
and
It's
then they
expensive.
come back. It's very expensive,
Very
but you could
expensive.
afford to live there because I think it's the number one tourist destination in the world.
Yeah, they make a
So,
lot of money off of tourism.
Yeah, they make a lot of money. Even when it was COVID, they made a lot of
Made
money.
a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about what you think needs to happen in Guyana when it comes to the arts to make it better.
I would say I would give Guyana a little clap for, well, specifically when it comes to fashion.
Yeah.
Dance is a whole nother thing, but fashion, I think, we've been saying, okay, we need this, we need that, and they've been listening, and things have been changing in many ways, even with like, the buyers and the public. Like I think people are more aware. Okay, when it comes to fast fashion and supporting local, because I've been having like a lot of people interested in my brand and asking questions.
Nice.
I just think it's more so you as a designer understanding the business side of fashion, understanding branding, understanding who you are, and putting yourself out there. I think probably because we don't have the knowledge to keep up with demand.
Yeah.
Because if you intentional, you always putting all your work there, trust you will get the returns. Because I've done it, but it's like I can't keep up with it as yet because
Yeah.
I'm not there as yet. But it's just structuring yourself, going back to the drawing board, having a plan, and I think
So Isaiah, let's talk about the finances
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to being a designer. How much money can you make as a designer in Guyana?
I think
Can you sustain yourself?
I think definitely you can. There's a lot of people who are doing it, and specifically like me, I've always done this for a hobby, but now I'm taking it more serious and
Yeah.
doing it as a profession. And I believe that it is becoming something that can sustain me because specifically after Origins, like almost all of my collection was sold out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people outside of Guyana I have like one client who I have like so much work to do for them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, just
That's
by
great.
posting, like constantly posting and people see your stuff, they reach out to you. So I think that is what, like, social media is such a tool, and if you, yeah, yeah,
1000%.
yeah, yeah. It's sometimes you don't want to post, but if you really,
Yeah.
really you use it as a marketing strategy and you
Yeah.
know what you're doing, you would definitely be able to make it as a designer. But mostly so is understanding your brand and what is it you're selling, what is it you have to say. It can't just be like, you're just selling clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if people see in the process, understanding, you know, what is it behind the brand, I think it's easier for you to get more clients. But definitely you could make it as a designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we also need more fashion shows because as a designer, when you go on the fashion show, you get visibility. People get to see your collections. So having more fashion shows per year definitely helps too. Talk about your experience at Origins and how was that?
It was amazing. It was so amazing. I am so grateful to even be able to be in the room with such phenomenal designers who has been in the game for so long.
Yeah.
So I'm honored to have had that experience. It was amazing to see the work and to see the creatives and to see everybody come together. I was amazed because I would have had the opportunities to do fashion shows on my own, to do a different productions on my own.
Yeah.
So to see them pull off all of that in such a short space of time, I was like, wow.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
production was top tier from all the
Yeah.
images I saw in the videos. Yeah,
It
they
was
did.
really good. And then the designers, they brought the A game. Everybody, I think, I've seen a lot of people's work, and I think everybody raised the bar and they really, really pushed to show, okay, this is what Guyana has to offer.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you've been getting calls and messages from people since that fashion show.
I've had a few. It has a bit slowed down a bit, but
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of calls, a lot of messages, a lot of orders. So I'm really, really grateful for that.
Great. And how many pieces did you showcase?
In all, it was about 13 pieces.
13 pieces. Yeah, nice. I remember you were working hard. I remember when I called you, you said
Yeah.
you were working hard on the pieces for the fashion show.
Yeah. I wanted to do something different.
Yeah, I think once you market yourself really well, and like you said, you use social media as brand, you can brand yourself, market yourself really well. You can definitely get clients.
I think as well too, like tapping into the market outside of Guyana.
Yes.
Because like even like outside of Guyana is actually, I've realized like that's my bigger market than in Guyana.
Yeah.
But it's tapping into that market, sorry,
Yeah.
and as well of like getting suppliers to keep up with the demand.
With the demand, yeah.
So that's the next thing. And I don't think we have suppliers here, but there's a lot of suppliers out of Guyana as well. So
Yeah,
it's
there's a
just
lot of suppliers.
understanding, how
Yeah,
to maneuver.
You can
and
build
all
that
that.
relationship and you
Yeah.
can get a lot of stuff sent to you order. You can order a lot of
It
fabrics.
takes a whole village to run a fashion brand, and a lot of times it's
Yeah.
just be one person doing everything,
Yeah.
which is
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. But when I see like what a lot of people has produced at like specifically Origins, and I see the quality of work that they did, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more Guyanese need to see like there's a lot of work that goes into putting out a collection.
Yeah. Most of those big brands, they have a whole atelier. They have like about 20 people.
Oh, yeah.
Sewing and
A lot.
beading and
A lot.
Yeah, and it's just us and probably like one or two persons. So
Working along.
yeah.
Yeah, Guyanese got to get to the point where they want to pay top dollar for Guyanese made clothing.
Yeah.
And Guyanese made designs.
I think some people understand how much it goes into it.
Yeah.
So definitely.
So let's talk about what do you think is needed now in the fashion industry to make it even better? Obviously, Guyana.
I would say more like specifically, I started in fashion as a stylist.
Yeah.
I was working at Bang Bang as the head visual merchandiser, and I was styling as well. And I think the experience that the store used to have,
Yeah.
it was just like a whole vibe, a whole shopping experience. I think that's missing in Guyana, like creating like really nice places for you to have like a whole experience, and it's not just you like
Yeah.
buying clothes online and it's just like just picking up from a rack. You go into a store, you get a whole, that experience I think is missing.
Yeah.
The
So-
magic of it.
So like having like one spot where you can go and get Guyanese made clothing.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be like really,
Finding a
really
good
cool.
spot would be great for that.
Yeah.
Everybody can have their own space set up. They can showcase their stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
You have
actually.
different stylists, you have different,
Yeah, that's a good idea actually. Yeah. So, what are some of the fashion shows that obviously you showcase your origins? What are some of the other fashion shows that you showcase your collections at?
I would have showcased at Suriname Fashion Weekend and my own independent show.
Yeah. Okay, and that was the independent show you did. That was last year?
No, that was a few years ago.
Oh, a
I
few
think
years
about
ago.
5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the latest project you're currently working on?
Well, right now, more dancing. I teach a lot now. I've been doing a lot of dance projects, and I've been doing fashion as well. But my next project, I would say, is being able to have my brand accessible.
Yes.
Yeah, so people will, have it in a store, have it. There's like shelf spaces and stuff. So I wanna
Yeah, you do have shelf spaces.
I
Yeah.
wanna start out with that, creating like unique pieces, like different accessories and stuff, consistently, so people could, okay, this is bug bead, this is what. So
Yeah.
that's my goal right now, is being able to have something substantial that is consistent, and yeah.
Do you work every day, or like are you always working on your pieces?
Well, luckily, I'm grateful. I've been doing like a lot of sewing, a lot of fashion, and then I still teach dance. So yeah,
Yeah. Just been staying busy.
yeah. Been doing the art. I think the last conversation we had, I was like, oh, I want to do art full time. So I'm getting to do art full time
Yeah.
now. So I'm really grateful. Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
So
Who
be able
are
to do that.
some of the designers that you like? The Guyanese designers.
Okay. Some of my favorites right now, I would say from the last fashion stuff that we had, which was Origins, the obvious Rose, Michelle Cole's daughter. Her vibe is just fresh
Yeah.
and youthful and new. I love her perspective on fashion and the whole vibe of the styling, everything. She's one to look out for.
Yeah.
I wish she was living in Guyana, but I'm sure that she's gonna be doing more stuff. So,
Nice.
and even as a model, like her whole aesthetic and everything.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She's stunning.
beautiful, yeah.
As well as I love House of Pearson. His aesthetic is just very elegant and chic.
Yes.
It's just like effortless and simple, but at the same time not simple. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does.
But yeah. I love how chic it is. I love his stuff.
Yeah.
A lot. Um, Keisha, of course.
Yep.
I love her stuff. More so, I love her mind, and as a creative, she is just somebody you could always talk to. Like, if she, how can I explain Keisha? Like, you could call Keisha anytime and, hey, Keisha, I need assistance with this, or ask about a specific thing, and she's always there to help.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm very grateful. She's like a mogul in the fashion industry, more than just a designer.
Yeah.
But as a designer, I think
She's overall creative.
yeah, definitely. Um, Roberto Tica, I loved his collection as well.
Okay.
I think the styling, the idea behind it, how it was set up, like you could like how he did every single thing in the collection as a creative, sitting watching it play out and watching it showcase on the runway. I was like, okay, this is really really cool.
Nice.
Um, but then the one who stole the show for Origin specifically, I would say was M1zo.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying this because he mentioned me on your last podcast.
You know him,
But
Monza.
he did his thing. I
Yeah.
was screaming in the dressing room while I was dressing my models. Like,
Yeah.
if you had to see it in person, he did not play. He did not play at all. It was
M1's top
amazing.
tier.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
his piece. I love his collection.
That collection, you had to see it in person. Like,
Yeah.
seeing it on TV did it no justice. Like, the detail that went into it, like I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did all of that in such a short space of time.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
Shak-
He shut down the whole
Yeah.
thing when it comes to, like, specifically the recent fashion things that happened in Guyana. He did his thing.
He did his thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Shaquana Hola was here. We did an episode together. She wore one of his pieces.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah,
piece she
yeah.
wore. It was amazing. Yeah. Mwanza did his thing on Origins. I can't
He
even
did.
lie.
He did.
Yeah, he
his
definitely did
thing.
a great collection
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
fashion
yeah.
show. Yeah. You ever thought about collab with any other designers and like get some stuff done?
Well, I've thought about collabing with a few people, but I can't say.
Yeah, okay.
You won't get the wow factor if I say. But yeah,
Oh.
Definitely, you guys gonna see a collab soon.
Okay, let's go. Who was like a main, like a global celebrity that you would like to style or like to see in your piece, one of your pieces?
Saint John. I love his vibe. I love his
Yeah,
aesthetic.
he's
I just
Guyanese
love
too.
how he is. Like before, he was Saint John, but he was always Saint John. But I think the first time I would have looked at his stuff, he used to do a cooking show on YouTube.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I've seen it. I
It
came
was
across
such
it.
a. I just happened to come across
I
that
came
show,
across
and I
it,
was
like,
like, "This guy is really, really cool."
Yeah, he's super talented, yeah.
And I didn't even know he had Guyanese origins.
Yeah, his mom's Guyanese.
Yeah, so I think I would. That would be amazing. To
Yeah.
be able to do.
Because
To do that.
he was born in the U.S., but obviously he was back and forth between Guyana and the U.S. That's what he said. But he's super talented, such a great creative, such a great musician, writer. Love his stuff, man. Who else? Just him?
Guyanese that lives abroad. You say or
No, I just said like any global celebrity.
oh,
that
any
you-
global
any
celebrity.
global celebrity, yeah.
Rihanna definitely. Rihanna is
def-
such a vibe.
Yeah.
Definitely Rihanna. I would love to be able to do that or do anything with Fenty.
With Fenty Beauty.
Yeah, I know they're transitioning to the Caribbean now. I believe they did something in Jamaica.
Yeah,
and then-
she has a spot too also, I think in Barbados.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard something that they might be coming to Guyana. I don't
That
know
would
sh-
be- that would
how
be good.
Yeah. That'd be really, really cool.
Open a spot in Guyana.
Yeah.
So Isaiah, talk about the brand and where do you see the brand going within the next, let's say, 5 years time?
Well, I am focused on sustainability and creating everything from scratch. That's the dream.
Yeah.
So creating our own fabrics, our own textiles, printing, everything production wise. I
Yep.
think that's my goal. I want to use a lot of natural fibers, coconuts, making our own buttons. I would see everything 100% sustainability. That would be my dream. I know it would take a lot
would
to
take a
get
lot,
there,
yeah.
but I would love to do that. Even like using different materials that we have here, banana leaves, banana trees, different things to, help with the sustainability and the lots of garbage and stuff that is
Yeah,
around.
exactly.
So like just coming up with different creative ways, but also finding a way to not necessarily mass produce like fast fashion.
Yeah.
But be able to produce to a place that can sustain a fashion house.
Yeah, I got
So
you.
yeah, so having my brand not only locally but also internationally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talk about how clients can reach you. You can drop your social handles and everything.
You could reach us on Instagram, Bucked Bead. That's Bucked, Bead, Bead, on Instagram. On Instagram, because
Okay.
we're not on Facebook.
Not on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah.
Email, phone numbers?
Buckedbead at gmail.com. You could send me a message on Instagram. You got my number there.
Oh, yeah. You won't put it out right now. So what else do you want to let people know about yourself and the brand and just overall everything that's happening with you within the creative space?
I would say my brand is not only about selling and fashion. It's about being authentic. It's about being yourself. I think what I want to say, I usually say it with how I create stuff.
Yeah.
And I would say to tell people, be yourself more, be authentic. Don't be afraid to have a point of view, have a different point of view. Don't be afraid of looking a little different just because it might make somebody else uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'd be surprised, like you being comfortable in yourself would give somebody else the strength to do it as well, because I think that works a lot. When I've seen it happen a lot in my time doing fashion here in Guyana and interacting with people. And I think there is a lot of people already that has the audacity, if you want to call when you see them, it's just be like I'm just happy to see people like living in their truths and having their own sense of style.
Yeah.
And there's not as much, but I think that inspires me as well to create more, and to be able to stay consistent, because sometimes you don't have the creativity, don't flow.
Yeah,
But then
that's-
you might just happen to see somebody and be like, oh wow, I just love that, and it just inspires you to continue. So I think if we are more ourselves and if we just just wear what the hell you want sometimes.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah,
And not
just
think about it too much. Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
have your own style.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I need to talk about though? The wine.
Yeah.
The wine is a vibe.
It's really good, yeah.
Yeah, the wine is a vibe. Your studio is a vibe. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Welcome,
man. Yeah.
bro. Keep up the good work.
I definitely will. I have a lot of people scheduled to come on the show, so I'm
Nice,
looking
nice.
forward to have all the other designers come on. I got some stylists coming on as well.
Nice.
Just continue talking about fashion, just talk about being a creative within the space, especially the Guyanese space, because it's so small.
Yep.
But it's growing, it's getting better now,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We gotta keep on promoting each other and helping each other. Like even just sharing stuff.
Yeah.
That helps a lot to like get it out there.
I've seen some new designs I had no idea.
Yeah.
I never heard about. I've seen new designers start popping up all
Yeah, the
over.
kids are coming out. The kids are doing their thing. What I love now in this time now, as a creative, being a creative and living, I'm not gonna say I'm not sure if I look the age,
Yeah.
but like seeing the young ones do their things. I have taught dance since I was like 17,
Yeah.
and I see the kids that I teach now,
Yeah.
and they're so like in their own, they're a whole different person. They know who they are.
Yeah.
They're like creative, they're expressive, and I'm just so happy to see like this generation just take charge of who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a whole different vibe. Like when I was younger, like being in the space, everybody was like just so scared to
Yeah.
be themselves, but now it's like much different. So
Yeah,
it's
people
good
are-
to see that.
It is,
Yeah, it's good to see
definitely.
that.
What I'm happy to see is that now you as an individual, you can go and get an entire outfit from a Guyanese designer.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You can get an outfit for almost any occasion. Graduation, birthday party, obviously a wedding, like you name it, you can go to a designer and get an outfit now. Before you had to go to like a store, you had to order online. But I think we're moving to that space now as designers that you can go and get an entire outfit, an entire wardrobe from a Guyanese designer, which I think is really well, which I think is
Definitely.
amazing. Yeah. So Isaiah, I want to say thank you for taking the time out to come in on the showroom, man, and sharing with us everything that you did. It's been a pleasure having you, and I hope to see Buck Bead doing big things in the next couple of years, like you said, man. I can't wait to see it. And the next fashion show you're probably doing is going to be when, next year?
Next year, let's see. Who knows? But I wouldn't wanna. My focus is I want to do something for Christmas, like maybe like a little mini collection.
A mini collection? Nice.
Yeah, for Christmas, not specifically a fashion show, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well, definitely just let me know. I'll be there to support as always. But yeah, thanks again for coming on the show, man. I
Yeah, man.
appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
All right.